This is the S&P 500 one-day reading for December 1st, 2023. It's currently October 10th, 2023, 7:37 p.m. Eastern Time. The S&P 500 at the time of this reading is currently 4,358.24, and the shuffle file we're about to play for the day's reading was created on October 5th, 2023, 9:07 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this video right here in the corner. So the overall theme of behavior, it's an interesting start to the month. We have two nullified significator cards in the reading, making it a little bit more difficult to determine where the low is based on SO meta and if there's any special kind of like happening throughout the timeline based on the theme card, but they're both nullified. So what we likely see is behavior like a selling off from a near overbought crest or peak down through multiple support levels. And that behavior will somehow be nullified, like the decline into the low will somehow be nullified by chart behavior. It'll be made irrelevant, in other words, in most cases. Behavior around the highest high, we have a decline down to and through support to meet a second support, which we bounce along sideways, and then we break down through that, and then through multiple supports out of the high. And those are support levels on a one-day chart scale. And then behavior around the low, like I said, it's nullified. So my sense is that we have a trough here, like within the first hour and a half, and then we most likely have a low, I think, at the end of the day. There's a couple places. There's a trough here, which is like between 10 and 11. There's a trough roughly between 12 and 1. And then most likely another one between in the last hour. But behavior out of the lowest low, we have the establishment of support with sideways rotational on key support, and then a big move higher standing out on a one-day chart. But it's nullified, meaning that it might not take place or that it takes place, but chart behavior somehow makes it irrelevant. Nullified, it has no relationship to any of the timeline cards, making it more difficult to determine the timing of the low. I'm advised to trade around an important range. That's on a multi-day scale. So we probably see one end of the range. Like we probably see a high in the morning, and then from that high we start declining pretty notably into like a lower lows. And what's interesting is that there's also a high correlation at the end of the day. That's pretty important. These yellow highlighted areas are Ace of Wands energies from the last day of November's trading days, the sneak preview card for December 1st. So like I thought there's a high here in the morning, probably before the 10 to 11 o'clock, probably like in the first half hour, maybe even at the open. And then we have, I think, probably a lowest low here at the end of the day. But there's a couple places. We probably have a lowest low actually around 1 o'clock, and then we revisit it at the end of the day, it looks like. Pretty back and forth behavior going on midday, turning into price swings mid-afternoon. And then there's an important support level that we revisit when in a period of sideways rotation, and a sharp drop that'll stand up in that period of sideways rotation there in the last hour. We'll revisit, and that's where I would exit. Well, okay, so you could exit in a couple places. You could probably exit around 12 o'clock in the midst of a notable decline with this Ace of Discs and the Black Bull. And then you could probably exit at the end of the day, I would say. But you want to be careful because there's this high correlation here at the end of the day in the post market, which could indicate that we have a high the following day, or it could indicate that we have a high here at the very end of the day. Either of those is possible. It's a little difficult to determine. But my sense is we probably have this pretty big move to the upside at the end of the day. After a sharp drop that stands out in a period of sideways rotation, we should have a notable move to the upside standing out, like maybe even pushing the upper end of a range higher here into a key resistance around the close. And that's Ace of Wands energy again there. So you would close out of the short position for a day trade, or you could wait and not open a short position here, but open up a short position at the end of the, well, this is probably a lowest low thus far, because this is a cross-reading congruency card here. It may not be, but I think it probably is. It's very sidewaysy for the month, you know. All right, and so then we have this cross-reading congruency here, where we have the failure card as the preview card for the 4th, and then we open with the failure card right around the open on the 4th at probably a significant low there. So I would say that opportunity at the end of the day when rallying into key resistance, I'd probably open 50% of a position here at this high first thing in the morning. And then if we do have a big push to the upside at the end of the day, I would open up the remaining 50% of that short position there with the anticipation of closing that short trade probably first thing in the morning after a significant gap down over the weekend. And you want to be careful, guys, because the first 3 days, three trading days of December, we have a lot of cross-reading correlations to the high cards on the bigger time frame reading. So most likely location of the highest high somewhere here around the 1st, 4th, or 5th. That's the S&P 500. Guys, you can get this. This reading was actually posted on our website, Tarot for Traders, for early access before October 12th of 2023, whereas it would come out publicly on YouTube on the 1st of November. So a big difference in time frame. Early access you can get on our website, Tarot for Traders, under our services, SO Meta Posts. Right here at the top, early access to posts. Click here to subscribe. $29 a month, $249 for the year. Really great way to intro into supporting the channel. Without supporters paying subscriptions for early access and monthly subscriptions, we wouldn't be able to put out the content that we put out. So thank you very much to all those of you that go ahead and do that. All right, so in the pre-market, we have a rally that ends with a halting of a bullish trend marked by a sharp decline through key support. That's key support on a one-day chart scale. Right around the open, though, we have a prominent move higher and then a full retracement of that move back down. It's kind of mixed. We may even then move to the upside again one more time before 10 o'clock. Hard to say if it's one higher. It's probably two highs. We have this prominent move higher, full retracement, and then that full retracement takes us into the sideways S formation in the first half hour that you see with the Queen of Cups, which makes me think we probably see the high twice. I wouldn't wait for the second high. I would take advantage of the first high that I see to open up 50% of that short position before we have a notable decline to a trough, probably right around 10:30, 10:40. From that trough, we have From that trough, we have a notable amount of price change. The Ace of Discs notates an important support level on a multi-day scale, and a lot of price change around that support level. Hard to say if it's at a higher support or a lower support, but my sense is that it probably, out of that death card trough around 1040, probably have a notable move to the upside with the Ace of Discs, and then a notable move back down around 12 o'clock in the midst of significant volatility between roughly 12 and 1. That volatility ends with a fast sudden move higher, and then on the scale of a one-day chart, and then a sideways fluctuating decline that precedes a rally, which is more like so the sideways fluctuating decline takes us to a trough and a trade opportunity roughly between 1 and 2, and then between 2 and 3, it turns into like bullish price swings. Before a notable move to the downside, a sharp drop that'll stand out, followed by sideways rotation along key support there in the last hour, along a key support that was recently a past opportunity. And then this might be squished over a little bit, and we might end up with this move at the end of the day with this big push to the upside, reaching for pushing the upper end of a range higher, in which case I would open up the other 50% of that position. If we don't have that move at the end of the day, just stick with the 50% you opened up at the beginning of the day. And then again, if you're doing a day trade, you could open up a short position around this high first thing in the morning or in the first half hour, and close it probably around 115. But the better trade is to hold it overnight. You must have risk tolerance for that. And that's the S&P 500 for December 1st, 2023. My friends, don't forget to follow that rule of karma. Super important. It's the whole purpose of the channel. We ask that you take 5% of the profits that you make from this information and donate it forward to one of these charities here through one of the charity links on our resources tab. And we ask that you donate 5% of the profits back to the channel. That's what helps support the channel, keeps things interesting for us. And it's basically the only way that I make money from my gift, because for whatever reason, the universe has found it comical when I attempt to use this gift for myself. So that's kind of like people helping out in that regard. The channel definitely needs that support, and it does leave you at 90%. Make sure to spend that money out of love. As long as you follow those rules effectively, what you've done is you've helped us transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. And while doing that, you've also guaranteed within yourself abundance mentality, gratitude mentality, and a clear conscience. All necessary components to manifest wealth successfully. I'll see you guys on the next one. Blessings to all my angel investors.